Exodus chapter 29, verses 1 to 46. I am reading from the New Revised Standard Version, the Green Bible. Verse 1. Now this is what you shall do to them to consecrate them, so that they may serve me as priest. Take one young bull and 2 rams without blemish. Verse 2. And unleavened bread, unleavened cakes mixed with oil, and unleavened wafers spread with oil. You shall make them of choice wheat flour. Verse 3. You shall put them in one basket and bring them in the basket and bring the bull and the 2 rams. Verse 4. You shall bring Aaron and his sons to the entrance of the tent of meeting and wash them with water. Verse 5. Then you shall take the vestments and put on Aaron the tunic and the robe of the ephod and the breastpiece and gird him with the decorated band of ephod. Verse 6. And you shall set the turban on his head, and you put the holy diadem on the turban. Verse 7. You shall take the anointing oil and pour it on his head and anoint him. Verse 8. Then you shall bring his sons and put tunics on them. Verse 9. And you shall gird them with sashes and tie headdresses on them, and the priesthood shall be theirs by a perpetual ordinance. You shall then ordain Aaron and his sons. Verse 10. You shall bring the bull in front of the tent of meeting. Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on the head of the bull. Verse 11. And you shall slaughter the bull before the Lord at the entrance of the tent of meeting. Verse 12. And shall take some of the blood of the bull and put it on the horns of the altar with your finger, and all the rest of the blood you shall pour out at the base of the altar. Verse 13. You shall take all the fat that covers the entrails and the appendage of the liver and 2 kidneys with the fat that is on them, and turn them into smoke on the altar. Verse 14. But the flesh of the bull and its skin and its dung you shall burn with fire outside the camp. It is a sin offering. Verse 15. Then you shall take one of the rams, and Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on the head of the ram. Verse 16. You shall slaughter the ram and shall take its blood and dash it against all sides of the altar. Verse 17. Then you shall cut the ram into its parts and wash it in entrails and its legs, and put them with its parts and its head. Verse 18. And turn the whole ram into smoke on the altar. It is a burnt offering to the Lord. It is a pleasing odor, an offering by fire to the Lord. Verse 19. You shall take the other ram, and Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on the head of the ram. Verse 20. And you shall slaughter the ram, and take some of its blood, and put it on the lobe of Aaron's right ear, and on the lobes of the right ears of his son, and on the thumbs of the right hand, on the big toes of the right feet, and dash the rest of the blood against all sides of the altar. Verse 21. Then you shall take some of the blood that is on the altar and some of the anointing oil, and sprinkle it on Aaron and his vestment, and on his sons, and his sons' vestments with him. Then he and his vestments shall be holy, as well as his sons and his sons' vestments. Verse 22. And you shall take the fat of the ram, the fat tail, and the fat that covers the entrails, the appendage of the liver, 2 kidneys with fat that is on them, and the right thigh, for it is a ram of ordination. Verse 23. And the loaf of bread, 1 cake of bread made with oil, and 1 wafer out of the basket of unleavened bread that is before the Lord. Verse 24. And you shall place all this on the palms of Aaron and on the palms of his sons, and raise them as an elevation offering before the Lord. Verse 25. Then you shall take them from their hands and turn them into smoke on the altar on top of the burnt offering of pleasing odor before the Lord. It is an offering by fire to the Lord. Verse 26. You shall take the breast of the ram of Aaron's ordination and raise it as an elevation offering before the Lord, and it shall be your portion. Verse 27. You shall consecrate the breast that was raised as an elevation offering and the thigh that was raised as an elevation offering from the ram of ordination, from that which belonged to Aaron and his sons. Verse 28. These things shall be a perpetual ordinance for Aaron and his sons from the Israelites, for this is an offering, and it shall be an offering by the Israelites from their sacrifice of offerings, and will being their offerings to the Lord. Verse 29. The sacred vestments of Aaron shall be passed on to his sons after him. They shall be anointed in them and ordained in them. Verse 30. The son who is priest in his place shall wear them 7 days when he comes into the tent of meeting to minister in the holy place. Verse 31. You shall take the ram of ordination and boil its flesh in a holy place. 32. Verse 32. And Aaron and his sons shall eat the flesh of the ram and the bread that is in the basket at the entrance of the tent of meeting. Verse 33. They themselves shall eat the food by which atonement is made, to ordain and consecrate them, but no one else shall eat of them, because they are holy. Verse 34. If any of the flesh for the ordination or of the bread remains until the morning, they shall burn the remainder with fire. It shall not be eaten, because it is holy. Verse 35. Thus you shall do to Aaron and to his sons, just as I commanded you, though 7 days you shall ordain them. Verse 36. Also, every day you shall offer a bull as a sin offering for atonement. Also you shall offer a sin offering for the altar when you make atonement for it, and shall anoint it to consecrate it. Verse 37. 7 days you shall make atonement for the altar and consecrate it, and the altar shall be most holy. Whatever touches the altar shall become holy. Verse 38. Now this is what you shall offer on the altar: 2 lambs as a year old regularly each day. Verse 39. 1 lamb shall offer in the morning, and the other lamb shall offer in the evening. Verse 40. And with the first lamb 1/10 a measure of choice flour mixed with 1/4 of a hin of beaten oil, and 1/4 of a hin of wine for a drinking offering. Verse 41. And the other lamb shall offer in the evening, and shall offer with it a grain offering and its drink offering as in the morning, for a pleasing odor, and offering by fire to the Lord. Verse 42. It shall be a regular burnt offering throughout your generations at the entrance of the tent of meeting before the Lord, where I will meet with you to speak to you there. Verse 43. I will meet with the Israelites there, and it shall be sacrificed by my glory. Verse 44. I will consecrate the tent of meeting and the altar. Aaron also and his sons I will consecrate to serve me as priests. Verse 45. I will dwell among the Israelites, and I will be their God. Verse 46. And they shall know that I am the Lord their God, who brought them out of the land of Egypt, that I may dwell among them. I am the Lord their God. Exodus chapter 29, verses 1 to 46. I am reading from the New Revised Standard Version, the Green Bible.